96.7.
Duncan's Trelawney.
Duncan's Trelawney.
Fit FM is owned and operated by Communistation Company Limited, located in Stuart Castle, Duncan's Trelawney, Jamaica. We broadcast on FM 96.7 locally and is heard worldwide on fitfmja.com. Our mission is to amplify diverse voices and opinions, inform, educate, entertain, and engage listeners of all ages and lifestyle while promoting responsible community development. Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Cultural Mix, an exciting radio show identifying and showcasing cultural diversity across the world through music, interviews, and lively discussions. Join Bev Moonchild on Fit FM 96.7, Fridays 6 to 8 p.m. Cultural Mix, everything cultural. Tune in. Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music.
You've got to give, yes, I'm standing 10 feet tall. Know yourself, know your roots, know your culture. You're in tune to Cultural Mix with Bev Moonchild and Fit FM 96.7, Fridays 6 to 8 p.m. I'm Mara Sedat. You have only one life to live, so you're patient. You've got to give. Yes, I'm standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall. I'm standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 above them all. Well, things may not be like you want them to be, yes, so be wise. You got to try carefully. Well, there may be obstacles in your way. Just remember, Rome wasn't built in one day. I'm standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall. I'm standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 above them all. Know yourself, know your roots, know your culture. You're in tune to Cultural Mix with Bev Moonchild and Fit FM 96.7, Fridays 6 to 8 p.m. I'm Mara Sedat. Things may not be like you want them to be, yes, so be wise. You got to try carefully. Well, there may be obstacles in your way. Just remember, Rome wasn't built in one day. I'm standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall. I'm standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 above them all. I'm standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall. I'm standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 above them all. Things may not be like you want them to be, yes, so be wise. You got to tread carefully. Well, there may be obstacles in your way. Just remember, Rome wasn't built in one day. I'm standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet
tall, standing 10 feet tall. I'm standing 10 feet tall, standing 10 feet tall. 10 above them all. It's Cultural Mix, and I'm here. You don't hear me singing. Yeah, standing 10 feet tall, because guess what? That's what we have to do every day. As we wake up, we have to make up our mind that today we're going to stand 10 feet tall, above them all, above the stress, above the trouble, above the trials, above the tribulation. I'm going to be standing 10 feet tall. And that is why I'm excited when I hear that song. I'm standing 10 feet. Never let the system get you down, because guess what, people? It is enough out there to get us down. But guess what? Never let the system get you down. Whatever is happening, let us stand 10 feet tall. So happy to be here. It's Cultural Mix. I am your host, Bev Moonchild, and we'll be here with you for the next 2 hours. We end at 8 o'clock, and we want you to stay with us. We're going to be talking to Diana Wright. She should be coming on now. Diana lives in the U.S. She has traveled, and Africa is one of those countries she has traveled to. And we're going to be talking about her trips into Africa. She's an entertainer. She's a singer. She's a poet. She's an actress. And the arts is where her heart really lies. This evening, we're going to be having an interesting discussion with her. And we invite you to come and be with us. Akwaaba, we say welcome. Welcome one, welcome all. Wherever you're joining us from, we're happy to have you. Whether you're joining us in Jamaica, outside of Jamaica, in the diaspora, we welcome you. Wherever you are, Africa, we welcome you. Whether you are in Russia, we welcome you. China, we welcome you. France, we welcome you. Afghanistan, we welcome you. Wherever you're from, we welcome you. We welcome you. We welcome you. We welcome those who are joining us on fitfmja.com. And we say you are always faithful. You're sure to be joining with us on all the programs, not only on Cultural Mix, but on all the other programs here at Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. We are happy to have you this Friday evening. It's November 4th, and oh, how the year is coming down. I am saying, wow, the whole year done already, because you know when November done is December. That's the end of the year, folks. We're looking into 2023. Can you imagine? We're happy to be here. Lots of things have happened. Last week we were here for a program, and boops, radam, we were off air. And I'm saying, wow, we were off. We were offline. Yes, those of you who are listening, you could have heard on the 96.7. But we were offline. We couldn't go live, and we are saying the radiothon that was held on Monday. That was just the beginning of the radiothon. I'm coming to make you know. So listen, that is one of the reasons I couldn't come online last Friday, because them people who provide us with electricity. And those who provide us with internet, them decide anytime they want to take them service. If you support the radiothon, though, we can stand 10 feet tall, right? Above them all. We can stand above them who provide electricity, and we can stand tall, always on air, always online. So we are saying, the radiothon kicked off on Monday, August 31, but it continues. So continue to make your pledges for the radiothon to make things happen here at Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. This evening, it's Cultural Mix, and we are going to be talking to our guest in a little while. She does a lot of things. I tell you, she's an actress. She's a singer. She is a poet. At one point in time, she entered JCDC while she was here in Jamaica. So the arts is where her heart really lies. And we're going to be talking to Diana Wright when we come back from this break. We're going to take a quick break, come right back to you. It's Cultural Mix, and I am Bev Moonchild, your host. We are in Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. Here is Diana Wright.
peace, yeah? I just love it on me heart, can't tear it apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. I just love it on me heart, can't tear it apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. Love is a fountain, keeps on flowing, down like a mountain, and it keeps on growing. 2 plus me, and the love is showing. Push up your hand in the air and make the love light shine. I just love it on me heart, can't tear it apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. I just love it on me heart, can't tear it apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. I know you're not perfect, but I know you are worth it. You've been there for me, so I know you deserve this. May I got knock it out, cause me want you to hear this. Tell you who
Moonchild, yeah, you hear me? That's on the bar, that's on the top. Play it again. We tune in, a Picture FM 96.7. We tune in.
We give thanks and
Play
praise to
that
the
tune
Most
there
High,
again,
yeah.
babe. We love it.
Ever living, ever faithful, ever true. Yeah. More love, more peace, yeah. I just love it on me heart, can't tear it apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. I just love it on me heart, can't tear it apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. Love is a fountain, keeps on flowing, down like a mountain, and it keeps on growing. 2 plus me, and the love is showing. Push up your hand in the air and make the love light shine. I just love it on me heart, can't tear it apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. I just love it on me heart, can't tear it apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. I know you're not perfect, but I know you are worth it. You've been there for me, so I know you deserve this. May I got knock it out, cause me want you to hear this. Tell the whole world I appreciate this. All this time where they blow you could have leave but you steer this. Anchor to the rock, no hurricane couldn't shake this. You are number one and you're there for me earless. They woulda never diss you and you know this. Hey, I just love it on me heart, can't tear it apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. They say you love it on me heart, can't tear it apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. I just be lying on me heart, can't tear him apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. I just got it on me heart, can't tear him apart. This is the real thing, you know the real thing. Someone who gamble, come to set the example. Put your heart on the table, cause I hit me not trample. Me at the straight shooter, so you know me no rumble. Straight from the heart, me wear the love like a mantle. Hold your love like I am, make it go like a jungle. This ain't no hopscotch, it got no food where you sample. Taste a liquor, you no want no more. Anywhere you go, if I saw, taste and buy no so. Leave it as you go. I just love it.
Cheers, somebody so. Leave it as you go. Listen to food where you sample. Diana? Welcome, Diana. Welcome. Nice having you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Are you
having me.
hearing?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, that one that I just played, Loving on My Heart. The son of
Yes.
food where you sample, taste and buy, how it go?
Yes, somebody so leave it as you go.
Taste and buy, leave it as you go. How did you come up with those lyrics, Diana? The real thing. Is it Loving on My Heart or the real thing? What is it called?
It's actually called real thing, but I take out the H, so it's more like real thing, you know.
Real
how
thing,
it is.
yes, the real
Right.
thing, the real thing. The taste
Right.
and buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did that one come from?
I mean, you see, when you really think about life and look at life, you realize that in my circle, I have come across so many pretenders, you know, and they come in every form or shape and in every culture, in every religious, even in the religious sectors, you find them. So when I experience that, that's my way of summing up the whole thing to say, you know, of course, love is real, you know, and it's just a natural progression. It's just a genuine thing. It's not something you can decide if I love this person, even if it's a platonic love we're talking about. You just can't decide, well, I'm going to love Bev Moonchild, or I'm not going to love her. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's just a natural progression, like breathing. So I just needed to sing it and put it out there
Yeah, the
to
real
let them
thing.
know. Yes.
Yes, it is indeed the real thing, the real thing, the real thing. And the real thing is love. There's no way around that.
Yes,
There's no
definitely.
way around that. You can't compromise at all when you come on to love. If you love, you know?
Yeah,
And you
for
can't
real.
half love or three-quarter love. You just love. Whatever love it is, you just love. But I'm so happy to have you though, Diana.
Thank you so much.
When I was there was an article that I was reading and I read where you entered JCDC at some point in time before migrating. How was that for you in those early years entering JCDC?
Wow. I'm telling you, it was electrifying because at that time, everyone, JCDC was like the height of glory for people in the arts,
Mhm.
And so entering, it was like, how people say, well, I'm going to The Voice or I'm attending, like
Mhm.
America Has Talent or whatever. For me, that was what it was because that was at that moment I could really showcase what is inside of me naturally. And
Mhm.
I lived for that time of during the year when we have the
Yeah.
competition. So it was
Mhm.
great for me, and I've won several awards there, and I've met several people, and I've done several. I've worked with other people outside of,
Mhm.
JCDC competition. So it was great for me.
Okay, okay. What area did you enter? Music,
Speech and drama.
speech and
Funny enough.
drama.
Yes, I did
Funny
enter
enough,
music.
how are you doing music now?
It's I guess the scripture said, to whom much is given, much is required.
Yes.
Much is required. But writing is my first love. Is
Okay.
something, and writing is what I do in my sleep. I just writing is just, I can just be here and a burst of idea just
Mhm.
run through me, and I can just sit down and just write a song, a whole story. Sometimes I can just plan a story. I can just outlay the whole thing to you without even writing it.
Wow,
And
wow, wow.
when I was, say, like about 12 years old, I realized that I had this flair to write.
Mhm.
And I would sit down and write stories, and people would say, why are you writing this thing from a book? Why are you copying? I'm like, what are you talking about copying? I'm not copying anything from a book. They're like, did you write this? I'm like, of
Mhm.
course I wrote this, of course. And they're like, you didn't write this. And it was like stories, whole stories, like love stories are, you know. So that for me, I realized that was something that comes naturally. And then when I was told about, when I first entered, I think I was maybe like about 17 years old. And when I
Mhm.
was first told that JCDC has this competition going on, I was like, for real? They say, yes. So I entered, I
Mhm.
just, because I wasn't even thinking about music. I used to sing in church, but
Mhm.
the writing and the acting and stuff like that was, the first, was my first love, if I could say that. So I entered in that field.
Okay. Did you enter as an individual or you entered from a group or an
An
organization,
individual.
a school?
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay.
Mhm.
I hear you speak of writing coming naturally. And writing, then persons would say, well, if you get this from a book or so, have you thought about really putting a book together?
Well, actually, Bev, I do have a book that I self-published. It's called,
Wow.
look at it, it's called The Conqueror's Quest. And I'll be taking some of my poems from it to read for you
Uh-huh.
tonight. Some of it.
Okay,
So,
great.
yeah.
Uh-huh,
So,
uh-huh.
I've done
Okay.
that.
Where in Jamaica are you from?
The most beautiful, the best.
If
Clarendon.
if you're going to say that, Diana, it has to be Clarendon.
That's true. It's
That's what you said?
Clarendon, yes.
Because from you're going to say beautiful and the best, there's no other. Sorry for those people
Clarendon.
from St. Thomas. But
Look,
yes,
we
Fit
don't
FM is in Trelawney, yes, but yeah, we are saying Clarendon to the world.
Clarendon it is.
Yes,
When I
Clarendon
go
it
to
is.
Ghana, they call me this gentleman. His name is Black Rasta. He always say, "Hey, Miss Clarendon." I was like, "That's not my name. My name is Diana." He said, "I just like that name, Clarendon." Hey, Miss Clarendon.
Clarendon. We're going to talk about Ghana, when we get deep in the conversation. But
Yeah,
where in Clarendon, though?
there's a nice little district called White Shop. So when
You listen to me, girl.
you know White Shop, I wonder if
Well,
me.
I'm from Alston.
Oh my goodness. All right, now.
I'm from outside, so you go talk about White Shop. I went to Knox, so you know that at Spalding's.
Right there, sir. Exactly. And I went
Yes.
to, yes, ma'am.
So you know Spalding at our place. So
That's
the
right.
shop is just right there. So you know we are going to be talking otherwise.
Yes. I hope people are not getting jealous, you know. I hope other listeners are not getting jealous. Please
No,
don't
no.
feel jealous.
No, they don't feel that way at all. So coming out of Clarendon, out of White Shop, Clarendon, entering festival, seeing that you have a knack for the arts, writing and singing and so on. When did you say, you know what, I'm gonna really take this seriously?
Okay. When I entered JCDC the first time, and I won. I got a silver award for speech and drama. I'm trying to remember the piece I wrote. I don't even remember. But I got a silver award. And I'm like, you know, I think I should have gotten the gold for real. But it was a school And, you know, when you enter as a school, you have children are doing different parts, and they have the different voice inflection, and so I think all in all, maybe that's what made them won over me. That's in my own selfish way. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, when I got the silver medal, I decided that I want to go further with this, and I think I've entered for 3 years in a row. But the first time when I entered, Kenny Salmon, who was a speech and drama coordinator at that time, when he heard me, when we were finished and I came outside, he came to me personally and he said to me, he said, oh my God, I have to tell you, I love the way you presented that. I love it.
Okay.
And then he told me, he said he had a production team, and if I would want to be a part of it, and I said sure. So from then I've been working a lot with Kenny Salmon in his production team. So we've been to several different places, and
that's good. That sounds good. Really, really. So you have acting in your blood, drama in your blood, theater in your blood, the arts really is in your blood. But you take up yourself and you leave Jamaica, and you're gone into foreign, right? Now moving into the US now, how did you still manage to say, I ain't gonna give up on this aspect of who I am?
Okay. All right. So like I said,
or did you give up?
Say again?
I'm saying, or did you give up? I'm just taking it for granted that you did.
Okay, no, not at all. And before so I'm just gonna step aside from the poetry a little bit. In the year 2000, I met some people, and I was so we're talking about music, and there's a gentleman I know. So I'm just gonna skip forward before I tell you about the night.
No problem. Yeah.
Right. So I wrote this song called "If You Miss Me," and there was a function at the time. Coney Park was still up, and there was a function there, and I went to Coney Park because I'm always entering competitions, and it was a competition in the day and an event in the night. So I entered, and I sang this song I wrote called "If You Miss Me."
You remember "If You Miss Me"?
If you miss me, don't go searching. If you don't, yes, I'm the author for that song. Everybody sing it.
Which song?
That same one. If you miss me, that one.
Don't go searching.
Yes, ma'am. You know?
You joking?
Yes, I am.
No, hold on, Diana. We have to play the song.
If you miss me, don't go searching. And if you don't see me, you know I'm gone. And if you don't hear from me, don't go knocking on my door, 'cause I'll be gone in the twinkling of an eye. You're my brother, and I'm your sister. You know I love you, and that is true. I would like to take you with me, but this is a one-man's aim and desire. Oh, if you miss me, don't go searching. You don't see me,
You know I'm gone. Oh, I'm gone. And if you don't hear from me, don't go knocking on my door, 'cause I'll be gone in the twinkling of an eye.
Moonshine, yeah, you may
We
be
might
the
make
boss. That's on the top. Play
to
it
go
again.
young.
Play it again. We're tuning a picture from
You know,
96.7.
soon and very soon,
Play that tune there again.
we'll be taking our leave from this earthly domain. If you miss me, don't go searching. And if you don't see me, you know I'm gone. And if you don't hear from me, don't go knocking on my door, 'cause I'll be gone in the twinkling of an eye. You're my brother, and I'm your sister. You know I love you, and that is true. I would like to take you with me, but this is a one-man's aim and desire. Oh, if you miss me, don't go searching. If you don't see me, you know I'm gone. And if you don't hear from me, don't go knocking on my door, 'cause I'll be gone in the twinkling of an eye. We might make plans to go yonder, and I might tell you to meet me at 8. But the clock's hand is ticking faster, and I might not be there with you at all. Oh, if you miss me, don't go searching. And if you don't see me, you know I'm gone. If you don't hear from me, don't go knocking on my door, 'cause I'll be gone in the twinkling.
Diana,
Yes.
that is a song that everybody knows, Diana.
Everybody knows it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
If you
everybody-
miss me, don't go searching.
Yes. Yes.
You are the author of that song.
I'm the author of that song. Yes.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
But everybody know that song, and we don't know the original writer of the song because everybody sing it.
Everybody sings it. Yes.
Yeah,
But
everybody sing it.
luckily, at the time when I had registered it with JC, with Jacob. So
Oh,
you
very
know,
good.
yeah, so it's good. Yeah, there are
Very
several
good.
people.
You're
who
good. You're good.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so you were telling me a story that
Mhm.
at the time you had just written this song.
Right. I wrote the
Yeah.
song, and when I performed it for the first time, Glenroy Samuels, this gentleman from Fab Five, he was the guitar. He was the guitar
Guitarist,
player at
yes.
the time. But at the time when I knew Glenn, he wasn't playing with Fab Five just yet. He was teaching music. So
Okay.
Glenn was the very first person who, played the progression for me, because
Mhm.
we used to live near on Brentford Road and Crossroads. So
Mhm.
when I came to Coney Park that day, he gave me the progression and everything. And when I went on stage, I met Gifton Smith from the Hummingbird
Mhm.
group at the time, and so that's how the song came about. Now, after maybe about 7 months after that, I recorded the song. When the song really began to do well in Jamaica, I started really doing music from that. So
Mhm.
the reason I did not give up is because I saw how how well the music was doing, even the
Mhm.
poems. And
Mhm.
even when I was leaving Jamaica, it was in 2005. I had a big concert at the Sanguinity New Testament Church of God down there. You should know Sanguinity, and
Yeah, man, I know Sanguinity.
it was sold out. It was
Yes.
sold out at that time. Yeah.
Wow.
So I knew that music is something that I have to do.
You
And
can't
I loved it as much as I love the writing. So coming to America, it was different for me. It's even harder being over here and trying to do, your reggae music or so on. But I'm still fighting it, and I have not given up. So that's the reason why I have not given up.
Mhm. What is that difficult thing? Why you say it's difficult? What is the most difficult thing getting the music out in the US there where you are?
Okay, so when I first came to America, I lived in Alabama. People say to me, Diana, you're playing Crash in Alabama? Alabama, no Jamaica, no. No, no,
Yeah, that is true. Who you end up in Alabama?
so, but anyway, the thing is, in Alabama,
Diana, nobody leaves Jamaica and goes to Alabama.
I know at the time I was married to a gentleman who was from that place.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like
Okay.
deep south.
Okay.
And there is just southern. It's just a good old southern gospel or
Yes.
the R&B or stuff like that. So to do music and to do reggae, it was like it didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it didn't exist at all. So that's when I realized, I said, oh gosh, how can I live here
Mm-hmm.
and still be involved in what is inside of me?
Mm-hmm.
So that was when I decided to self-publish the book.
Okay.
That was in 2005, 2006 or 2000. No, sorry, that was 2010. That when I self-published this book, because there was no doing reggae music. There was just nothing, there. So I went back to my first love, and sure enough, this first love did not fail me. I did this book. And
What's the name of the book?
The book is called The Conqueror's Quest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a beautiful launch when I did the book. So, it wasn't just going to be a day of reading a book. I got some people from the church I was going at the time. I gave them parts to do in the book, and so we made
Like a real drama production.
Yes, we had props, we had the lighting, we had every single thing, and we performed it. And it was a launch, because I don't like to do things in a mediocre way, and we had a lot of turnout. We even had live broadcasts from a radio station around the area. So it was great. And it was the first for them in that area to have something like that. So, I'm always looking for something to do. Yes.
Okay. So how has the book been going for you?
When I did the book in 2010, it went very well, because of course it's literature, and we had the sales there, and it went very well that night. I sell them on my website, which is the 16 Bars Multimedia, 16barsmm.com. The book is out of stock. It's been out of stock now. But because I was working in corporate America, I didn't really have, a lot of time to do everything, to do the publishing, republish it again. And I most of the times I do things for myself, because I have been disappointed by people so many times. I choose to do it for myself.
16 Bars, remind us of the website.
So the website is www.16, that is 16, BARS, MM. And the MM stands for multimedia. So, .com.
16barsmm.com.
Right. So that's where you can go and get the book. And but the book is out of stock now, but we are in the process of remaking them.
Okay. Are you still in Alabama?
No, I'm in North Carolina. another southern state, but it's different.
How is it there?
No, oh my God. So being in North Carolina, it is very different than Alabama. It's like night and day, right? But North Carolina is more like a banking state.
Okay.
So even though they kind of have this thing, like they front the arts a lot, but it's not here like if you would go to Jamaica or if you'd go to Ghana. The arts, they're big on the arts. So I'm still having to fight my way through. But how I do it here is because, like my children, I have 2 girls and a son. My son is actually, he's very, very gifted in the music, and he's my producer. And so Christopher is 25.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we have a home studio, and he makes the music for me, like the one you played earlier, Real Thing, and there are several others that that you will play as the night goes on. So Christopher makes them, and we even put on shows. We put on shows here. Sometimes, like the first time, the turnout wasn't that great. We did a second one. We had a gentleman that I invited. I met him online. He's a Rastafarian brother called Gumbe Culture, and I invited him. He lives in Florida, but I invited him to come to the show, and he performed. We had 2 shows like back to back, and the turnout was good. You know, it was big, not as wonderful as I would have liked it, you know, to be, but it was good comparing to not having any in Alabama.
Because what I'm hearing from you is, if you will make it happen, if you go there and the art is not celebrated or the art is not a thing that people, you know, are into, you are going to go there and you are going to make it happen. So it shows that the talent that you have, it is something that you want to put forward. It is something that people will want to come and see when you put your production together. Because I always say, if you have a talent, why you don't use it up?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of your talent if you're going to put it under what they call it, under a bushel? Yeah. You have to use the talent that you're blessed with. And so when I hear you talk, and then I hear you talk about your children and how involved they are in what you do, especially your son, it tells me that you're really serious. You're the real thing. The real thing.
Thank you.
You're the real thing. So what do you plan for North Carolina? 'Cause, you know, look like you do the regular New York and Miami and Florida and those places.
You know, okay, so in 2019, when we did this EP called it's with the same name, Real Thing, we had a launch here, and like that was the first time getting out in the public in North Carolina with my music, and it was new to them, so it wasn't that great. And the when was it, 2020? I think when they said, I think a little bit of that, they had the Corona thing came up, but before all of that came, we had a show that was in September, and that was when it really started to grow. You know, people
were beginning to be drawn to it,
right? Because I got a lot of we did a lot of promotion in terms of like via the social media and in the print media. We did some, so I guess people were more curious. I remember this older lady, Caucasian lady. She came out to the first one with her little granddaughter. She says, you know, I read it in the paper, and my granddaughter was just she saw your picture and she just wanted to meet you. You know, and she herself, she says, she referring to herself, have taught music for many, many years. And then she said, I looked at your YouTube and I clicked on it, and she says, it's the first time I'm hearing reggae, but I liked it and I wanted to come and meet you. Yes, so it was
you are growing on them, Diana. You're growing on people. Little by little. And that's how it is. Little by little until you actually get where you want.
Yes.
But you have to start somewhere. And you have what to start with too.
That's
Sometimes
true.
we say, well, we don't have nothing, I can't do this and I can't do that. But you have sufficient to start with.
Yeah. It first begins here. You know, you have to know, because I could look at myself and I could, well, hey, everybody's doing R&B, everybody's doing, you know, we even produce songs for because like I wrote 2 R&B songs for this gentleman called Michael Hill, and I think I'll send it to you before the night is out, so perhaps you can play it. Beautiful.
Okay.
And we even end up doing like a mini video movie with the song involved in it. I think I have sent that to you. I wrote that song and we produced it here. So even if it's a case where they say, okay, then R&B is the name of the game. If I can't sing it like the American, because I don't sing, you know, R&B, I stay in my lane. So, but I can write the song, and I write the song and find people to produce. So one way or the other, we are going to get it out. We are going to get something out there, and we're trying to make a statement. The people are going to know that, hey, it's coming from 16 Bars or it's coming from Diana, because what is inside of me has to come out. You know, one way or another.
If you don't write it, you're going to sing it. If you don't sing it, you're going to put it in a poem. And if you're going to perform it, it has to come out one way or the other.
It has to come out, babe.
Yes. Lovely, lovely. We're going to take another break. We're going to listen to another song. But when we come back, we're going to talk about that song. And then we do go into the poetry, because I want to hear some of the poems this evening.
Awesome.
We're talking to Diana Wright. She is everything. Her heart lies where the arts is. We're going to listen to one of her songs and come right back. It's Cultural Mix. I am Bev Moonchild, your host. Soon come.
So that you and I would never have to live without his love or his grace or his mercies that endures forever. I was discouraged and everything was going wrong. Lost and confused, I couldn't find a prayer song. Then Satan would whisper, say, God ain't your father, and don't even bother, cause he won't answer your prayers. So much love, no competition. Devil, don't you know he's got too much love, won't compromise it. And should I lost the vision, he'll bring revelation to his own. I'm under protection through the blood of the Lamb. I'm walking a new road according to God's plan. No temptation strong, I got to hold on, 'cause it won't be long when I'll testify. So much love, no competition. Devil, don't you know he's got too much love, won't compromise it. And should I lost the vision, he'll bring revelation to his own. Oh, I'm under protection through the blood of the Lamb. I'm walking a new road according to God's plan. No temptation strong, got to hold on, 'cause it won't be long when I've testified. God has so much love, no competition. Devil, don't you know he's got too much love, won't compromise it. And should I lost the vision, he'll bring revelation to his own. God has so much
Cultural
love.
Mix, cultural diversity in music and lifestyle on Fit FM 96.7 with Bev Moonchild. Fit FM, your life, your music.
You can walk as you like. You can talk as you like. You can live as you like, but you can't go to heaven as you like. No, no, you can hate as you like. You can kill as you like. Brag and boast as you like, but it now go sweep on that judgment day. Yes. Father, send me the one, the liar them. Father, send me the preach to the murderer them. Father, send me the tell us say I can't come to heaven as you like.
Jungle Lordy.
Father said, for the evil that you do will live after you. So the good always and good will follow you. For the seed where you sow, you are going to reap, whether it's good or bad. Let me tell you again, you can walk as you like. Oh, you can talk as you like. Brag and boast as you like now. Now go on heaven as you like. Hear what I say. You can hate as you like. You can kill as you like. Brag and boast as you like. But it now go sweep on that judgment day. Yes. Father send me fi one, the liar them. Father send me fi preach to the murderer them. Father send me fi tell us say you can't come to heaven as you lie. And that's because I say, for the evil that you do will live after you. So the good always and good will follow you. For the seed where you sow, you are the reap, whether it's good or bad.
This is Spin FM 96.7. Duncan's Trelawney.
You can walk as you like, or you can talk as you like. You can go as you like now. Now go to heaven as you like. Hear what I say. You can hit as you like. You can kill as you like. Brag and boast as you like, but it now go sleep on that judgment day. Yes. Father send me fi one, the liar them. Father send me fi preach to the murderer them. Father send me fi tell us say you can't come to heaven as you like. And that's because I say, for the evil that you do.
The evil that you do is gonna follow you. Whether listen anything good or bad, it's gonna follow you. Nowadays, people call it karma. Welcome back, Cultural Mix. I am your host, Bev Munchal. We're talking to Diana, right? Diana, would you consider yourself a gospel artist?
Earlier, I used to consider myself a gospel artist, but now I am an artist.
You're an artist. You're an artist. You're an artist. Yes, that one is ska, right?
Yeah. Yes, guy.
You're not confined to reggae or that kind of thing.
Primarily reggae. That one, when I went to the studio that time, the gentleman who actually worked on this for me or with me, his name is Johnny Clark. Not the old
Johnny
time
Clark, you know.
Johnny Clark. There's another
Right.
Johnny Clark, right? So we were just down there vibing, and as a matter of fact, he played most of the songs on all the songs on the second album that is called Blessings and Honor. So we were just down there vibing, and he would sit down and tell me what you think of this music, and so he and I wrote that song together. So
Where you did this? In Jamaica?
in Jamaica, yes.
Okay. I'm listening to your songs, Diana, and they have so much soul. They're coming from a deep place, Really, love what I'm hearing.
Thank you.
It is gospel, but you can feel where it's coming from. The music really has a lot of soul. You put your all in it when you're doing your music.
Yes.
How important is that?
It is everything. It is everything, because like I say, whether I'm making money from it or not, it is going to come out because it's what I do. Like when I used to work for corporate America, when I'm driving to work, I have my phone up like this. I'm driving and I get a little melody and like, and I'm singing 2 lines of a song, I'm putting up my phone, I'm making up a song. And by the time, I used to drive like half an hour to work in the day, every day. And by the time I reach to work, especially in long traffic, I will complete a song. And that's basically how I wrote most of the songs for that third EP, The Real Thing. That's how I wrote Real Thing. That's how I wrote, most of the songs on that album per se. So,
how many albums you have?
2 formerly when I did the first album that has If You Miss Me on it. There were 12 songs on that album, and then the second one that you heard, that is one of the songs, the second one, and then we have an EP, which we did here. My son did that EP. We did that here in America.
Big up your son. What's his name?
His name is Christopher Napier.
Christopher Napier. You want to big up Christopher. He might not be listening, but at some
He's
point
listening outside.
He is.
He's outside listening.
So big up Christopher, big up yourself. Christopher, you are your producer. You're your mother's producer. And it tells me that you really are in support of what your mother is doing. And when your children support you, it's very, very important. So,
Yes.
Christopher, all the very best to you. And we say, keep supporting your mother. It will pay off, because I hear her saying, maybe if the money won't come, but the money will come. The money will come. The work is good and the money will come. All you have to do is put in the work and it will pay off, because of the real thing.
Yes. The real thing.
The real thing, the real thing. How about your other children? Are they involved in what you're doing, your daughters?
My two daughters, one of them, her name is Jodie Ann. She sings some of the harmony on some of the other songs that I have. So she's very, very talented. Yes. And we're actually working on some music for Jodie. I call her Jodie. Yes. So you will soon hear them,
So it's a family thing, Diana. That's the real thing.
That's the real thing.
That's the real thing. Yes, it's a family. I really feel good when I hear you talk about it. That that way, with everybody being involved,
Thank
they
you.
know the kind of work that it's put in, and the appreciation will even be greater, because they are part of it, and they know the kind of work that you are putting in it, and the commitment, of course, is something that I'm really proud of. Really doing well. I hear you say, when you used to work in corporate America.
Yeah.
You're no longer with corporate America. Why?
No. Okay. So, how do I say that? I have always, even when I was in Jamaica, I've always been someone who liked to do for myself. I don't ever, I guess, I don't know if maybe not fear is not the word, but I'd like to stand on my own 2 feet. So I sometimes look into myself and I'm like, hey, I'm working for these people, and the work I do. All right. When I was in Alabama, I used to, because I'm a paralegal by trade, right?
Okay.
When I was in Jamaica, I used to work for several attorneys too. But when I came here, I did my degree in legal studies. So I worked as a paralegal.
Okay.
And then when I look at the type of work that I do versus the pay that I'm getting, I was okay. I could go to the store, I could buy whatever I want to, I could buy this and that. But I said to myself, Diana, you have all this inside of you. Why don't you do something for yourself? So that's why when I was in Alabama, I did my book. I wanted to test the water to see how it would work out. I'm always trying to put something out there for me. When I left Alabama and came here, I worked for another law firm again for 5 years, and it was right there, I think, a little bit when the corona thingy started, a little after that. Then because when I worked at the law firm, I was a librarian, I was a records manager, I was everything. And that, like I said, the pay just wasn't meeting it. I'm like, don't these people recognize what I'm doing? You know what I mean? And so I said to myself, no, even if I have to, and that's why I'm glad I'm a country girl, I am so glad I'm a country girl. So nothing frightening me. I've been here. So I said to myself, whatever decision I have to make, whatever I have to do, I need to do so that I can stand on my own 2 feet. So now I left corporate America, and my son again, my family and I, we set up a car rental business. So we do have a car rental business that we're using to sustain ourselves. And I'm talking about it's just like you rent from one of those standard car rental companies. That's how we set it up. I did the website, I did the contract, I did just do basically everything. I use the skills that I have to set us up.
Diana, you are the real thing. No, you're the real thing. You're the real thing. So rather than use all of that knowledge that you have, all of the energy that you have, and empower another person's business, you are going to put all of this into your business.
Yes.
You're going to incorporate your family into your business.
Yes.
It becomes now our business.
Our business, yes.
And when it is our business, we appreciate it more, we put more into it, and the satisfaction is even more.
Yes. Yes.
That's the real thing.
No.
That's the real thing. Yes, that's the real thing. That's the real thing.
Oh, yes.
And I can tell you, it is going to get even better for you. So I'm giving you my blessings here from Cultural Mix, and I'm saying it is going to get even better for you and your family, because the universe see the commitment that you're making.
Yes.
And how committed you are to self and to the talent that you have. And
Yes.
once you can demonstrate that talent, it is going to work. It have to work.
Thank you. Yes. I
It
believe.
has to work, and it will work. I feel it. And
Yes.
so I'm giving you that this evening here from Cultural
Thank
Mix.
you. Thank you so much.
Another thing I heard you say is that you
Mhm.
try to do things on your own because you have been disappointed so many times.
Yes.
I have spoken to so many artists. I've spoken to performers who lament the same thing. It's the same lament, the disappointments, and how, you know. So when I hear you say the song that everybody knows, If You Miss Me, Don't Go Searching, that you had registered it before at JCAT, Mr. Well, at least you'll be getting your royalties
Yes.
for that. But what are some of the disappointments that you can share?
Okay, so being a female, that is one. That's like a sweet and bitter fruit, if I can say that. It's sweet if you just want to dress up and go out and be your feminine self, but
Mhm.
when you're trying to venture out into a world of, where it's dominated by, so much testosterone, if I can say
Yeah.
that, you
Mhm.
are up. You're like raw meat to the lions and so on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I used to hang around studios with friends and with people and so on, and because I'm very observant, so when I
Mhm.
see excuse me, some of the little plays, men on a whole, and the way they, even the way they would come at me or so on, stuff like that, I'm like, no, this is not what I want to do. This is not
Mhm.
how I want to. So for when I look at that, I withdrew myself from, because I could have had a lot more opportunities,
Mhm.
in fact, well, it seemed
Yeah.
that way. It seemed
Mhm.
that way.
Mhm.
So I said, I don't want to learn that way.
Mhm.
I don't want to learn that I could have or I should not have. So I just
Mhm.
take myself away from it. I was heavily involved in the church, and I work when I was working at the law firm. I worked very hard. I worked and I saved up my money, saved up everything. When people were buying, girls were buying, fancy bag and high heels. And even though I had children early or so on, but I was busy taking care of my children. I was busy saving up my money. So sometimes I can remember when I was living in Augustine at one time. For those who are listening, who knows Augustine sometimes can get a little rough.
Yeah.
And as a country girl, if you live in Augustine, you just already know to mind your own business. And I go through life that way with my children. So sometimes, like when I met Gifton Smith, the gentleman at Coney Park, like I was telling you when I first did the
Mhm. Mhm.
If You Miss Me
Mhm.
song, right? And he said, "Dinah, have a studio, you can come down." I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I don't drive, I don't have a car.
Mhm.
So I would come home from work. At that time, when I met Gifton, I think, where was I? I think I was working for the law firm, or I was working at the UE, because I used to work at this as a secretary for the security liaison officer at the University of the West Indies at that time when I was working on that song. So
Okay.
I would come home from work. My
Mhm.
son was like 3 at the time, I think, something like that. I don't remember. Come home from work, cook, make sure everything is. I help them with their homework. Gifton would say, "Okay, Diana, you have to come here studio like 8 o'clock." I mean, 8 o'clock in the night, would have to get up and go to work in the next morning. I said, okay. So I would I would go like
Mhm.
every other month, because I have to work, pay my rent and everything, and save up my money. If he say,
Mhm.
okay, it's going to be 5,000 for this, okay, so I already have my 5,000, already have my taxi fare, already have everything. So I come home, I cook, put my children to bed, tell my next door neighbor, I say, make sure that they're okay. I said, where you going, Diana? Going to the studio.
Mhm.
Sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm coming home from studio. You
Wow.
know, I remember
Mhm.
one night I was coming home, and at my gate, oh my God, at Jungle, the area I live, they call it Jungle 12. But Jungle 12
Mhm.
was all right still, because I mind my own business. Everybody down there, when they see me, they say, even the bad boys, they say, where I say Christian? I say, no.
Mhm.
So, you know, so they just like me. And when I see them now, sometimes I say, what, sometimes I just say, where I say, morning or so, and them just say, all right, Christian, you're Irie. So I was
Mhm.
coming home one night, Bev, and when I reached the
Mhm.
gate, something in my eye, when I reached the gate,
Mhm.
and I opened the gate, it was like 3 o'clock. The taxi man dropped me off. When I opened the gate, it was like you thought it was like a little army right there.
Mhm.
3 o'clock in the morning, and what I
Open your
saw,
gate.
yeah, what my eyes saw.
When you open your gate.
My gate to come in, because the yard I live is like two houses are in the yard, right?
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
you open your gate and then you pass one house, and then my house was more like to the adjacent of the other house.
Mm-hmm.
So when I opened the gate, it was like just sprawl out with man and man. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And them have them thing and them thing. You see?
Yes.
That, I mean, like that was, I mean, I thought I was going to wet myself. So,
Oh, no.
yeah, when I passed through and I stood there, I just say good night. And them say, Christian, you're coming so late. I'm saying, you know, me just the music, man. Me I come from studio. I'm saying, oh, all right then. But then I watch out the place. I'm saying, easy now. Easy now. Because I don't even talk like that. I say, easy now. But
Oh my
I
God.
was like trembling.
Oh my God.
So I just went inside, open my door, and go inside,
Wow.
pray, go to my bed. I get up early the next morning, go to work. So that's how I saved up my money, and I go to the studio. Gifton Smith is a living testimony. He can tell you. I'm calling people's names because it's the truth, you know. So anybody
It's
can
important,
understand.
yes. It's important.
Right.
People
Right.
need to
So-
know how much you appreciate them, the
Yeah.
things that they have done for you. If you never even get a chance to tell them when you're doing an interview and you call them name, but they are the persons who would have helped you on your journey. So them
Yes.
need to hear and they need to know that you appreciate them. It's very
Yes.
good always to be grateful and to say thank you. But when me hear you say, boy, you grew up here, son, and you just know how to mind your own business.
Mhm.
You know, wanna trouble you, not trouble it.
Exactly.
You know, and you see no evil, speak no evil, and you hear no evil.
Exactly. Because you see, I'll be going somewhere and I see certain things and the kind of personality I have. Some people would think that, okay, you know, like the way I look, and maybe, you know, that's a bossy. But when I see, like if I'm in a community and I see certain things, we just come right down at the level. Well, I don't want to say level, but I put myself in a way where I can communicate with the person. So
Yeah.
even if I see them look like a weird, you know, look away,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
I talk
You
with
can
them. from
adapt. You can
that
adapt.
level.
You can adapt.
Right. You know,
Mhm.
somebody just say, well, I said my brethren. They say, cool,
Mhm.
Empress. And then when you talk to them, no, that way they feel like, what that the air is still enough. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you know, business with nobody business, and they look out for you, if I can put it that way, you know.
Mhm.
And so that's how I live. That's how I live, and I just you know, just my there's a song I heard on your station today, said drink water and mind my business.
during the soca segment, yes. Everybody drinking water, man, in them business, beloved.
Julia.
Everybody I drink water, I drink soup, or I drink something, and I mind them own business. You know,
Oh,
sometimes
man.
I wonder if doing that sometimes can be at the detriment of the community, because
Yeah.
sometimes people see things and do business. You know,
That's-
and that will probably affect, not probably, that sometimes affect other people, you know.
That's
But I
true.
understand the concept of
Yes.
me and mind my own business. Me and mind my own business, and I do what me I do, you know, because sometimes that is what you have to do in order
Yes.
to get through, and in
Yes.
order to do the things that are important to you. So I
Yes.
do understand the concept and how in those times you did really have to mind your business, you know,
Yeah.
and go through. Did you have all the children in Jamaica before migrating?
Yes. I have all my yeah. Mhm.
So when you went to America with them, what was the age like, and how was that transition for them and for yourself?
My son, he had just passed for KC. So he was what, 11, because he passed the exam early.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher, that same one that plays the music. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And my daughter Judine they were like 15, and because they're like, my two daughters are like 2 years apart.
Okay.
So they were like in their teens, early teens or so, you know.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. But when we came to Alabama, I will lie to you, because I was living in because I left the country and I was living in Kingston, so I was living in Sterling Castle. Moved from Augustown, and then moved up to a nicer place, a nicer community in Sterling Castle, where it was very nice. So when we came to Alabama, and we drove in that night, we drove in the house, because it was a night, and Jody, and because the houses are different here. You have like wooden structure, right?
Yes,
But
Alabama.
you know
Yeah.
what? In Jamaica, if you live in a boardhouse, them say
Not now going to you.
Not now going to live in a boathouse. So when we came to Alabama,
And sight up the boathouse.
when we came, I was
And talk man. Now when you see the boathouse now, you see America is been there. America must have boathouse. The great America.
when you park up in the yard, Jody look, because the house was like a rectangle, like shaped exactly like a rectangle.
Yes.
And then, so now we were looking for the walls and the wall structure. I mean,
Yes.
two-story or something like
Yes,
that.
yes,
There are
yes.
some of them there. So Jody said, when Jody goes up, because Jody very crazy. Jody goes
Like she said, I eat this.
Jody goes
Oh my God.
Jody said, Mommy, what is this? He said, what do you mean? She said, Mommy, look, but the house. She said, is it this? Mr. Jody, what's wrong with it? I said, Jody bawled, Jody cried. I believe in me, Jody cried. Jody cried tears.
Because you live in Castle and stuff. It's a nice place.
Exactly. You know, when we go
Oh
inside,
my
we said, Jody
God.
cried for about 2 days. Jody, when daylight come, and you see everything.
Like Jody want to come back to Jamaica.
Mommy, come we go home. Mommy said, Mommy, you can't
Come we
still,
go
I
home.
just left school. You can't still get him back. I can't see him. You can't still go to school. She said, Jody, no, I swear, I cried too. And I said, Jody, it's just, let me tell you something. And I'm just going to
It's
use
life,
this.
yes.
Jamaica, people in Jamaica, let me tell you something. And it breaks my heart every time, right? Oh my God. What you have and what we have at home,
Yeah.
it is, believe me, if it's one room, one nicer room with a kitchen and a bathroom and so on, trust me, it is heaven. And I'm not bull driving you. It is heaven.
Yeah.
You understand
Jody
what I'm
make
saying?
me cry till me laugh till me cry. Jody
Yeah.
me laugh till me cry.
Sometimes when you think that you're leaving, because you know the truth, let me tell you something, Beth, that I've never really shared this with anyone, but
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in the law firm in Jamaica, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I left, I used to work at Michael Lawrence's office in downtown.
Okay, Michael
Very,
Lawrence.
very,
Yeah.
very, very good lawyer.
Michael Lawrence, yes.
Right. So when I left Miguel Lawrence, I had my own business right across from that on Church Street. I was doing graphics design and I was doing contracts of people and all of that kind of thing. No.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing the acting and the music and everything. When I
Yeah.
came to Alabama, when I first came here, I tried to get a job because I do everything. There's everything you can put your finger on. Ask me, I do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned graphics designing in Jamaica. I learned it on my own. I bought the program and learned it when I had my own business. When I came in Alabama, I couldn't get a job. I asked everywhere which way I couldn't get a job. And you know the kind of job I got a job. Somebody told me, oh, Diana, they're employing some people at the nursing home. I'm like, what is a nursing home? Believe me, I never know. I mean, like nursing home, like it's a nurse thing. And they said, it's just a nursing home where older adults go to get taken care of.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And they wanted CNAs. I'm like, what is a CNA? I didn't know that, because I was never in that area. So when I went down there, right, and I went and I inquired and I sat at the class. I did a little class, and when the girl, she said, okay, now you're gonna do your practical. So I said, okay. So when the girl took me into the different rooms and meet the patients, and she told me that okay, they bathe them, they feed them, and excuse me, and I'm saying, all right, but then when it comes to bathing them and you have to toilet them and stuff like that, I'm like, me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, star. I said, no, Jamaica, me never do that at my account. Me never even know said this kind of job exists. Believe you me. And Bev, for those of you who are listening, I really want you to listen to me carefully. When the girl started helping the lady and what I saw, how she had to help her, clean her up and stuff like that. When I went home, it's like, I must say this, it was so bad that I couldn't eat like meat for a long time.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Wow.
like, I'm saying no. And when you look at what is called decubitus, these are like open bed sores in the back of
Yes,
somebody's
yes,
back. Like
yes,
some
yes,
of them were
yes.
so big, like you could put your fist in it, like literally put your
Wow.
fist in it. You know what I
Mm-mm.
mean? And I'm
Yeah.
saying, I said no. And you know what I did? I told the people, I said, I have to go home. I made up some lying story. I said, I have to go home. And I
Mm-mm.
never went back for was about 2 weeks, but I looked for every job every which way, and I couldn't get a job with even the skills and the brilliance that I have. I couldn't get a job there.
Why?
And I had to go back. I had to make up my mind and go back. And they said, but you weren't here. And I made up another story again as to why I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, okay, you want to do the job? I say, yes, okay. And Beth, I've worked there for 2 years, bathing these people, taking care of them and everything. And there's not one day I don't cry. I said, God, how can I leave Jamaica? My house, I lived in Stirling Castle, for crying out loud. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And even though I'm a country girl, I don't have a problem going back to country. But I say, God, me, what happened to my writing? What happened to my music? What happened to everything? What happened to
Mm-hmm.
everything I know? How can this is where I found myself.
Mm-mm.
You know,
So what
so
happened to Jody all this time?
but say, Jody was just sad. And we sat down and we thought to say, should we go back? We didn't own the house, right? We
Mm-hmm.
didn't own the house, so we were paying rent. The rent was exorbitant, but I'd say I had my own business, so I was doing it. We were doing it, right? So Jody just cried. Jody was always a bookworm. She just keep her head in her book. But Jody
Mm-hmm.
was always the one. She sees everything and she cries about everything. You know, she's very fun and a very lovely girl. But
Mm-hmm.
she sees a lot of things and she pays attention to a lot of things. So, but I said, Jody, let's just tough it out and see how we can make it. You know,
Mm-hmm. How did your son take it?
Christopher, he would come to me and he would talk. And one thing with my children, I'm always to sit them down. I'm always someone I sit them down and I talk to
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yes, yeah,
And I
yeah.
explain. And I
That is
love my children.
important, yeah.
Yes, and they know that I love them, and I love them in a good way. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I'd hug them and I would talk to them, and they know from Jamaica how I care for them. I never abuse my children, even if I have to carry water on my head for them. That's who I am. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
even today they know that. You know, so then they know that. Listen, I'm like, but they say, why did you leave? Why did we leave? That's a question I could answer. Why did you leave Jamaica and come here? It's not better. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. But what you think, sometimes you hear the media, you hear the news, you hear these things, and you think that you're coming into a Better Roses. I have a song called Better Roses. You will play it later on.
Mm-hmm.
When you think you're coming into a better rose, you have to work in some areas that you wouldn't even work in your own country. You wouldn't even do those things. But you know, sometimes they say life, bad things doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So I
Yes.
take
What's a
that
lesson you learned during those years?
exactly.
Yeah.
And let me show you, when I realized that I couldn't get a job, I said, you know what, let me go and do a legal study over here. So that's when I involved myself in school. I went to, because I couldn't work and go to school at the time, so I went to school online and did my degree in legal studies. And
But why couldn't you get a job though?
I don't know. They just weren't. I don't know if it was because of my chocolate. I don't know. I could get jobs, but in that area,
Mm-hmm.
in the area of the nursing home, the jobs that I didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was before that, there was one job I got, and it was to work for a newspaper. So I was doing editing for them. It was a Christian newspaper. It's called
Okay.
the Midnight Rider. But it didn't lasted for only a month, because the gentleman told me, I don't know how I got the job. It was like a miracle. And then only a month, and the gentleman said, people don't like to hear good news. So the sales of the paper is going down. And so he would have
Oh, wow.
he's gonna have to close.
Close down.
I'm like, oh my God. You know, so that was the one little decent job I got, and then lost it because of that. And then I had to turn to that. But and there, I say that to show you that even though I worked there in that field, no one knew that I would go in the bathroom and cry every day.
Mm.
And all of the patients I took care of, they loved me, and I was one of the best. So let me tell you how it changed now. When I was there and I did my paralegal degree and everything, one girl, she said to me one day because I always bring food for her because I like to cook. I don't eat fast food. I'm always cooking, you know.
Mhm.
So I would bring food for her. Her name is Kosha, a very, very nice girl. And one day she said to me, she said, Diana, you know, you said you're a paralegal. I don't know why you're still here. You know,
Mhm.
those southern people, they're very funny. And she said, I saw in the paper where they're looking for some paralegal person and some ombudsman. I'm like, what is an ombudsman?
Okay.
And she said, I'm gonna bring the paper for you tomorrow. And I said, okay.
Mhm.
And she brought the paper for me, and I filled out the application, and lo and behold, a lady called me, and well, a gentleman called me and says, blah 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 blah, got your application and blah. That was 2 years after. So went there to do the interview, and you know what, Bev? When I went to do the interview, as a matter of fact, the day I was supposed to do the interview, I called them. I made up another story again as to why I couldn't go because in myself, I'm like, I'm not going to get it.
You mean you make up a story for the paralegal job?
Not to get it. When I had the interview, I made up a story as to why I can't go. I said, I'm not feeling well. I had the interview, but we confirmed, and I said, I'm not feeling well, so I can't come. And I didn't go. Like for 1 week, I just didn't go. And I said to myself, these people are not going to hire me.
Well, why you didn't want to go?
Because I've tried so many times to get jobs and couldn't get it, didn't get it. So I felt like this is just another interview again. That's just going to go nowhere.
Okay. I get you.
You know? So, but a week passed and I said to myself, you know, I can't really be at this nursing home working forever. And, you know, like God had it ordained for me. I looked for the email that I had applied for. And I told them that, listen, I should have come for an interview, but I didn't come because blah, 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 blah. And they say, but the position is still open. Are you still interested?
Wow.
And I'm like, yes, of course.
Wow.
And I went. And when I went, it was an African-American woman and another gentleman, a Caucasian gentleman was there. And I did the interview and they said, we like you, we really like you, and we want to hire you. And that was how I got the legal job, the paralegal job in Alabama. And guess what?
What happened?
The job that I got as a paralegal, it also entails working as a long-term care ombudsman for the people in the nursing home, which means that I'd advocate for them to make sure that their rights.
Look at that. Yes.
You see?
So you see why you were there, though.
That's why I was there. And I was able to go back. When I was leaving, everybody was sad. But I was able to go back to advocate for the residents. And my picture was in the frame as the ombudsman on the wall of the nursing home as the person who advocates for them. And what
if you never did take care of the people at the nursing home?
Can you imagine?
Huh?
Can you imagine?
So when you're placed somewhere, sometimes you see, as a matter of fact, don't say why me, why not me?
Why not me?
Why not me? Because the reason you're there sometimes will not come clear to you, you know. It's after a while you say, but wait, this is the reason why I was at this place.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And this is such a wonderful story.
Yes.
Such a wonderful story. Why did you leave Alabama?
Okay, I left Alabama because
before we even talk about that, what became of the wooden house? The board house.
Child. I said child, as I say in Alabama, child.
Yes, child.
But it's still it's there. It's there. But living there, because I told you I went there because I was married to the gentleman, and we were good for, we were very good, but there was a difference of culture.
Okay.
The culture was because, I am a go-getter, I'm a fighter, I'm a this. So there was a big difference of how right. So anyway, I left. I said to him that, listen, we have to move from this place because first of all, when Christopher graduated high school and then when he went straight to college, guess what? The only little job that he could get was like to work at McDonald's. And I know it's standard procedure for when you just leave high school, you go to, to do those little jobs or so on. And he said, I don't want to work at, those fast food places.
Yes.
I don't, he's a very, creative person. He's brilliant. So I told the gentleman at the time, I said, let's move to somewhere else. He didn't want to move. I said, well, your job, we can go to North Carolina because your job also has a company there, that you can work. He didn't, but he's like a religious fanatic, if I could say that.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so he preferred to stay there in Alabama. And I'm like, no, I see Christopher crying every day, feeling sad. Jody said,
And
Mommy,
Jody,
and Jody said, Mommy, not another day when me done school, me want to go somewhere, me gone. So, you know, I said to myself, I cannot bring my children this far and to
yes,
just
for
won't
them
be
to
able
go
to
through,
know.
yes. Uh-huh.
And then there's nothing there for me. There's no music, there's no poetry, there's no nothing, there's nothing.
So it's just stifling for you.
Exactly. So I told the gentleman, I said, let's move. He was like, no, but I can't. I'm like, well, okay, well, I can. So we just move.
So
Me
Diana,
just,
you move and leave him?
yep. Me take up my thing then, and every week we used to come to North Carolina to look for a place.
Mm-hmm.
Look for a place to live, even without a job. And in North Carolina, you cannot get a place to rent at the time without having a job.
Yes.
Yeah. And I said, God, I'm going to believe you to help me, because I cannot just have children. You know, you have some mother just worldly still. No, just because you live with your children or you raise your children to a point and then you say, okay, uno big now, uno can't go on. No, they didn't ask you to be here. If you didn't have any money, you didn't have any land, you don't have anything, you don't have anything to leave for them, the only thing you can do is to see them through. You have to stand there don't say they're an 18-year-old. You don't kick an 18-year-old child out of the house. What experience and knowledge does an 18-year-old have to go out there
and live on their own? They can't manage.
You understand? So I said, no, I am not, I don't do that. So wherever it is that we have to go, we will go, and we will make, you know, we will do what we need to go do. And so I said to the gentleman, I said, look here, I am sorry, but if you don't want to come, me not, honey, so very sorry. And he said, well, okay then. And I said, well, okay then. So we just get the place. When God was so good enough, the lady just gave us, she said, okay, I know you don't have a job here, but I'm just gonna give you the apartment, because we were looking for an apartment. And that's how we got it. We got the apartment without a job here. But yeah, me, I was always saving. So I saved up my money when I was working, you know, people buying fancy bag and stuff. I'm always saving my little dollars from Jamaica, you know. So when we came here, and I'm showing you something, we moved Alabama, I bought furniture and everything and stacked them up and get the U-Haul truck and everything, drove from Alabama to North Carolina when we got the place. Yep. And we lived here like for about 9 months without a job. And I said, God, when? But we had money saved up to pay for our bills and everything, because that's just the way I live, you know. And until my children, they were able to get a job, you know, here, there. And then I was the last one to get one for whatever reason. I don't know. It's always difficult. It's always as talented and as, you know, I have my papers.
But they were working.
Yeah, it was just always that way for me, and I've done everything I could make a job out of going for interviews here in North Carolina. So it was that serious. Yeah.
Wow.
But then when I finally get this job here, I was working at the law firm. You see, it always takes long, but when you get it good.
You get it good, you know? Yes.
Right. So I that's where I was until I left, and you know, things just turn, and we have our own place, and you know, God is good. So my children now, they have their own place, and everybody have their own place, and it's all good. And it's not perfect yet because we're still in the South, you know, but it is. It is good.
Better. Much better. Yeah, and the gentleman is still in Alabama.
Yep.
No.
Yep. And I am free as a bird.
Oh. Yes. You have to take your life in your hand.
You have to.
Yeah. You have to take your life in your hand, and you know what you want, you know.
Yeah.
So when you know what you want, you can't have somebody holding you back. And guess what? Sometimes your dream is not the other person's dream.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not. And sometimes it's unfair to ask them to see life the way you see it. And the things you want out of life. They don't want that out of life.
That's true.
You know, we just have to be honest with ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
And kind of put the emotion aside and say, well, face the reality. And the real thing. The real thing. We're going to take a break, Dinah. You may want to sip a little water. We're going to come right back. We want to, you mentioned, let me see if I had written it down. It's called, you said it to me, Dinah, the song.
Oh, Bed of Roses?
Bed of Roses, yes.
Yes, you need to play Bed of Roses and Ahu. That one is just tearing on the place.
Ahu,
Ahu, yes.
Ahu. We're gonna come right back. We're talking with Dinah Wright. She really has a story. Interesting. Soon come back. Cultural Mix. Bev Moonchild.
You know I love you. No apologies when I chose you. Everything you do, I adore you. Just the way you are, I wouldn't change you. You make me bring back old times, something. Shivering the daddy tired thing. When you open the door for me, pull out the chair for me, carry down to church, then you marry me. Life on a 100 roses, the deepest river of the longest. The moon shines brighter in the dark days, and the tallest tree I know the strongest. Life on a roses, deepest river of the longest. The moon shines brighter in the dark days, and the tallest tree I know the strongest. Even though they say you can't afford me, deep in me, I know you love me. Hard working man who will provide for me. Never tell me no fear it till I pop me up all night. Never tell me say you wanna kiss you in the sky from me. You work till your strength runs dry. Yes, I need honesty, baby, you're my guy. I know I got to say you the other eye. Life on a 100 roses, the deepest river on the longest. The moon shines brighter in the darkness, and the tallest tree I know the strongest. Life on a 100 roses, the deepest river on the longest. The moon shines brighter in the darkness, and the tallest tree I know the strongest. We have a nice little ranch down the ocean. Well, if I bet you where we plant, me not go hungry. Come and say, the GMO in our pantry. Give me a firm foundation when a Sunday. Him not no whole heap of money, but we comfortable. Him and me together, man, we comfortable. Treat me like a queen, don't make me vulnerable. Nah, get me stressed, don't make me miserable.
I sang the part, I sang the top. Play it again, play it again. We tune in, I fit
No apologies when I chose you. Everything I do, I adore you.
We love it.
Just the way you are, I wouldn't change you. You make me bring back old times, something. Shivering the daddy tired.
This is Spin FM 96.7. Duncan's Trelawney.
Church, then you marry me. Life on a 100 roses, the deepest river of the longest. The moon shines brighter in the darkness, and the tallest tree I know the strongest. Life on a 100 roses, deepest river of the longest. The moon shines brighter in the darkness, and the tallest tree I know the strongest. Even though they say you can't afford me, deep in me, I know you love me. Hard working man who will provide for me. Never tell me no fear it till I pop me up all night. Never tell me say you wanna kiss you in the sky from me. You work till your strength runs dry. Yes, I need honesty, baby, you're my guy.
Cultural diversity in music and lifestyle on Fit FM 96.7 with Bev Moonchild.
90 love said it's sweet like a sugar. You promise you the world so your heart it a quiver. Anywhere you wanna go, take you out to dinner. 3 months, 4 months, love starts it. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, boom. Soon now your heart skip a beat. Conversation short in tone. Soon now your whole body grow and boom. Ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Baby, ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Tell me ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Baby, ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Am I anything was sweet, mama, suck it up, so I promise you that comfort you, I can no make them
This is Spin FM
your heart and your mind will go
96.7. Duncan's Trelawney.
90 love said it's sweet like a sugar. You promise you the world so your heart it a quiver. Anywhere you wanna go, take you out to dinner. 3 months, 4 months, love starts it. Starts 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, boom. Soon now your heart skip a beat. Conversation short in gone. Soon now your whole body grow and go. Ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Baby, ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Tell me ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Baby, ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Remember anything was sweet, mama said it a go sour you. Promises I comfort to a fool, no make them power you. Take for your heart and your mind and will devour you. With the sweet talking, they overpower your roses are red and
Moonshine, yeah, hear me. That song the boss, that song the top. Play it again. We tune in at Fit FM 96.7. We tune in. Play that tune there again, man. We love it.
90 love said it's sweet like a sugar. You promise you the world so your heart it a quiver. Anywhere you wanna go, take you out to dinner. 3 months, 4 months, love starts it. Starts 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, boom. Soon now your heart skip a beat. Conversation short in gone. Soon now your whole body grow and go. Ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Baby, ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Tell me ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Baby, ow, ow, knocking a 2:15. Remember anything was sweet, mama said it a go sour you. Promises I comfort to a fool, no make them power you. Take for your heart and your mind and will devour you. With the sweet talking, they overpower your roses are red and violets are blue. Sugar is sweet, but not sweet like you. There's nothing in the world that for you they wanna do, but I bet
Dinah, let me tell you something, girl. Knocking at 2:15. Ahoo. Dinah?
Yeah.
2:15. Ahoo. Anything you see to ever saw you. I'm gonna play this out. Knocking a 2:15. Ahoo. Is it Christopher who did the music for that one?
Yeah, he did the music for that. He did the music for Better Roses too, yeah.
That boy is talented, Dinah.
He is, yes.
He's very talented. Christopher, things are going for you. Things are going, big things are going for you, Christopher. You're rather talented family. I really love this one.
Thank you.
Where this one come from? Where did it come out of? What came out of it?
I
mean, where did it come from?
You know, okay, so Christopher was going over his tracks because sometimes he just goes in the studio and he just makes music, you know. So one day I was here and I said, Christopher, you know, I'm the killer rhythm, no bad tune, no bad rhythm.
Killer rhythm?
Killer rhythm.
What were you talking about?
Nah, quote unquote. It's a rough, tough rhythm. And Chris was like, all right, mama, make a
Tough
look.
love. Yes.
Yes. So him going on the thing and he said, well, listen to this one. And when I hear it, as soon as the beat drop, I said, oh. I said, Christopher said, mommy, you're not easy, you know. So in quick time we write this out. Christopher just died with laugh throughout the whole time, throughout the whole rehearsal.
Knocking a 2:15. Ahoo. Where you going at that time?
That's what I'm saying.
Ahoo. We have to talk about Ghana, you know, and I realize the time it's now 7:32. We're gonna talk about your travels into Ghana.
Okay.
And Ahoo is going to be the song that is going to take us out for the rest of Cultural Mix. Okay. Talk to me about Ghana though. I can't make you leave without talking. How did you end up in Ghana and how was that like for you?
Okay, so I had a friend because you know me, I'm a social being, you know. So I got invited to Ghana. I first went in Ghana in 2017, and then I just wanted to see. I wanted to see Mama Africa. I wanted to experience it. All right, so from that I went back 2017, 2018, 2019, and then 2020.
That's 4 years.
Yeah, when I was there, I met with the people that I hang around with. They brought me to this radio station because, of course, they know I do music and so on.
Mhm.
I interviewed on this radio station with this very well-known radio personality. He's called Black Rasta,
Mhm.
right? Excuse me, everybody in Ghana know Black Rasta. Very brilliant gentleman. He's very good in history and he's also a radio host. So he
Okay.
interviewed me and he really loved my music. And, so I said, okay, then I'm coming back, So that was the third time when I went. And this last time, when I did Bed of Roses, I sent Bed of Roses to him and
Mhm.
he's been playing it. And he also advertised it on his programs for me. So people really, really love it. So one time he called me and he said, Diana, we're having a show. We're having something called Hands Across Africa. And it would be great if if you were able to come. Eric Donaldson would be on the show, was on the
Mhm.
show. Rock
Mhm.
River was there. Oh my goodness. There were some other people from Ghana. I can't pronounce their names, so I'm not gonna try to
Mhm.
pronounce it.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
there was this other gentleman also from one of the other Caribbean islands too. He was also there. I don't think of his name to tell you. So it was just a lot of artists right there. And he said, Diana, because people are loving your song, Bed of Roses, because of
Mhm.
what he
Mhm.
talks about. It's not
Okay.
talking about the hype. He's talking about how, you love this man and this man don't have anything much, but then they put one another together. So the Ghanaian men are loving it, because here in the culture of Ghana, it's like the man has to have so much to, or show himself worthy in terms of whatever he has to be able to take care of the woman,
Mhm.
It's a culture thing. So he said, in your song, you are saying, and listen, even the little things that he has, you still love him for that. When he gave you if you saw the video, my Rasta man in the video gave me a basket of, fruits, and he worked, chopped the yard, and give me his little money. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful love story. And everyone, they seem to love it. And he said, you need to come and sing that song. So he
Okay.
said, I'm going to do everything. And so he invited me to come to be on the show. And
Mhm.
most of the proceeds from the show was also was like charity, because they have the needy and the indigents and so on within the
Okay.
area. And
Okay.
so, right.
Mhm.
So that's why it's called Hands Across Africa. And
Okay.
Christopher and I went, and while we were there, it was when we were on stage singing, most of the people in the audience were singing the song.
Mhm.
To show you how much, a lot of people know it and they were really vibing to it because it got a lot of airplay and so on. So also when I was there, I didn't stop there. The people that I stayed with, they're
Mhm.
also involved in the arts. So they brought me to the school. It's called the Mania Krobo Senior High School in over there in Ghana, of course. So I
Mhm.
went, and I didn't even know that they were planning for for me to come. When I went there, I thought I was just going to meet the students and everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I met this little boy. The principal was telling me that there's this little boy who his mother is dead, his father's dead, and so one day he didn't come. He didn't come to school. He wasn't coming to school as often as he should because his parents, are dead, and
Mhm.
family, of course, maybe don't have it or not doing what they're supposed to do. But the little boy was picking coconut one day to sell, and the coconut fell and hit him in his eye. So he was like near blinded in one eye, and she was like, really, next to tears. That woman cried because he said,
Mhm.
this is a boy.
Wow.
That's a true principle. That is really a true principle. And so, she said that they needed glasses for the little boy. So Christopher said, Mommy, we have some money. So we gave them the money to purchase the glasses. And there was, of course, money left
So your
over.
children went to Africa with you?
Just Christopher and I.
Okay.
Yes. And then I met they brought me out to the as a matter of fact, we went there late, so the students, they were waiting for us, but then they
Mhm.
went back to their class, and the principal asked them to come back out. And boy, it was like over 3,000 students sitting outside underneath some big trees with their chairs and everything. When I look and saw the students, I was like, oh my God, these children are really, but they don't even know of me, so why are they even waiting, But the
Mhm. You
gentleman
didn't know.
the gentleman that his name is Prince, we call him Prince, and another gentleman he's also a teacher.
Mhm.
They had
Mhm.
organized a whole thing for the students to meet me and for them to perform for me. So when
Wow.
I went, they did a whole play. They had this
Mhm.
thing all planned. They did a whole play. I'm gonna send it to you. It's on my
Mhm.
YouTube at Diana Wright in YouTube. A whole production the students did. and it was so beautiful, you know. And then I adopted the drama school, the drama group of the
Mm-hmm.
school. You know, they had entered a competition because they're very big on the arts, and they won the goal. I think that for that entry they won the goal. And so they asked, can you adopt our school or drama group? And I said yes, I adopted the drama group, and I, you know, made some donation to them because of course they were going to perform.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just good. I found like a family, and I formed another family bond right there. So I gave to them and I poured into them because I see that they're, you know, I don't look to say, okay, you know, they're this and that. They're
Mm-hmm.
children and they have a need, and you know,
Yeah.
whatever I had, I shared it with them, and it was beautiful.
Well,
It
how
was
are they
beautiful.
doing now?
They're doing good. As a matter of fact, they went to the big competition. I think they came second or third out of
Wow.
so many schools. There was a lot of entry because
Awesome.
they called and they said, Diana, your drama group, they came in at a second or third. I don't remember what
Mm-hmm.
the number was, but yeah, they are very, very good. The Mania Kroba Senior High School in over there in Ghana, very, very brilliant. I love those children. They are very, very brilliant. Yeah. So, you know, and then I sent books over there for them. I didn't send the book, but I sent money to
Yes, I
purchase
understand.
books, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for them, for their, you know, for their to sit their exam and so on. So I'm really working with them as best as I can. So yeah,
Wow. That's
Ghana for me
awesome.
is very,
Awesome.
very nice.
Commendable, Diana. I will say throughout the discussion with you that you really are the real thing. Because
Thank
when I listen to from Jamaica, how you would do what you have to do, going to the studio from them time there, and saving up as you would have said, go in August town, leaving, putting things together with the children, make sure them eat, put
Yes,
them up and say, you know, you're going
yes,
to the studio, Johnny Clark,
yes.
and you come back from the studio just in time to go back to work. And sometimes coming in at that time of the morning, you buck up on some things, you know, where you really have to just mind your business.
Yes,
And
yes,
then moving on consistently throughout this discussion, I see where you are committed to what you do.
yes,
I
yes.
see also the love that you have for your children. I see also the determination. I hear it, you know, and even moving there in Alabama. Poor Jody, you say, balling for 2 days with the board house. It's a shock of it all, you know.
It is.
Moving from Jamaica, where we have them big concrete structure,
Yes.
moving from Sterling Castle to gone to the great USA
Oh
and
God,
end up as a board house. It's shocking. It's a culture shock.
it is.
So I can understand her dismay. I can understand the bawling for the 2 days because you can't imagine those things. You take plane, you go at airport, you fix up yourself, you're ready, you reach the America. And lo and behold, a board house.
Woodhouse.
Oh
Yes.
God, nothing where you see on TV. You
Nothing.
know, so I can understand the shock and the horror of it all. But I'm sure she would have learned over time
Yes.
what really, you know,
Yes.
life is. You know how the interviewer come down. I'm gonna hear no poem from you, Diana.
Oh.
So get the book quick. The
Okay.
Conqueror's Quest,
Yes. Okay.
and find one that you like. It's 7:41. We want to hear a poem. We want to talk about it and talk about the book. And you give
Okay.
us the website and so on, and we wrap up the discussion.
Okay. You know, since I had one. This one is about Jamaica. Well, there are several others, but this one in particular because of how I saw Jamaica, what was going on in Jamaica. I think it's more fitting. Ta 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 ta. Let me find it. That was not what. Okay. And this is how. All right. It's called Paradise. Right.
Paradise, okay.
It's kind of written like in a little old English some aspect of it. So it
Yeah,
says,
man, just go ahead.
"O Jamaica, land of my birth, my heart longs for thee as the beloved of one's virginity. The waters called by distant shores, but what of thee shall I embrace? Memories fade as timbers blaze. Now lies in the ash a country's worth. Sweet Jamaica, a sculptured art, chipped away by the stranger's hands. Run in haste, swift gazelle, take your beauty and your children's sons. Wash their hands in the Rio Minho. Peradventure they'll be redeemed. Peradventure they'll come home. From a distant place I gazed on thee. My navel tree, oh, what of thee? Birth me another son, bring me 1,000,001, and name them all overcome. I hear laughter in your womb. Bring them home, it's not too soon. Let's recreate the ones we've lost. We'll teach them upon our knees. We'll suckle them upon our breasts with love that flows like Dunn's river fall. With all that made thee my life, the stranger's feet your name enticed. But don't forget, I loved thee first, sweet land of my birth. Art thou sold for a measure's worth? Or did we deceive ourselves first? Paradise, my beloved, does royal blood still flows from thee? Or doth myth and rhyme still chimes thy pipes, that fair has come to take thy life? Or that my navel string forsook beguile thee, pray let it remind thee. Come home, sweet Jamaica, from where thou hast been. We're strong enough to carry thee and wise enough to learn from thee. Let Blue Mountain fend for thee and the Caribbean Sea bring fortune to thee. O brilliant mind, the scholar's child, oh, that knowledge had eluded thee. Perhaps thine heart would find thee. Perhaps this shall remind thee. That's it.
Wow. Paradise.
Yes.
Oh, Jamaica. What of thee shall I embrace?
Yes.
What a question. What a question. I think that poem is self-explanatory.
It is.
But you may want to say, where you were when you were so inspired. What,
Yeah.
tell us a little thing.
Okay, so while I was living in Alabama, and I was, sometimes when you're at home, things doesn't sound as bad, but when you moved away and you hear this and that, it sounds like, oh, was I living there when that was happening? So when I hear and I begin to, hear the news and all the negative things that are coming out of Jamaica, I said to myself, is this my place? Is this my sweet, sweet Jamaica? And so I began to write a letter to Jamaica as though she was a person. You know, and I wanted to talk with her and communicate it with her and let her know that, hey, I loved you first. All these people from these foreigners coming in to do this and to do that, and you're well, people might say it's a development. Some people might say, well, you have spoiled her. You have spoiled Jamaica with all these things. And I wanted Jamaica to know that I am her beloved. She's my beloved. And the affinity between us can never change. And I was just lamenting and appealing to her for the good to come back. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. A number of us can identify with the poem. As I hear the poem, it brought me back to this song by Chronix when he said, "Smile for me, Jamaica."
Yes.
He also is talking to this person. And this person is a female, and she's Jamaica.
Yeah.
Oh, I say, smile for me, Jamaica. So it brought me back, kind of,
Yes.
It gave me that kind of a feeling. What of thee shall I embrace?
Yes.
And I'd love for all of us to ask the question of Jamaica. Oh, my Jamaica, what of thee shall I embrace? Because nowadays, Diana, you turn on your phone. As you open your TV, you turn on your TV, you turn on your radio, there is something terrible happening in Jamaica. If it's not road accident,
Yes.
it's killing. I heard a very sad news just over a day or so ago. A young man murdered his mother, beheaded her down in St. James.
Wow.
They say he's mentally ill and he has to be mentally challenged to do such a thing, gave her multiple stabs and then took her head off. When you hear the stories, when you hear, as you look, another accident is on the road. Another gruesome murder takes place somewhere, and you will want to ask the question,
Yes.
what of thee shall I embrace? Because if we don't search, if we don't ask the questions, we may think that Jamaica is really done. And
Yes. It's true.
certainly she has so much more to offer,
Yes.
but we have to find it.
Yes.
We have to embrace it. We have to celebrate it too.
Yes.
Because if we don't, the negative will overpower the positive things that continue to happen in Jamaica.
That's true.
And as Chronics would say, smile for me, Jamaica.
Yes.
I love that poem, Diana. Paradise. I like it. I really, really like it.
Thank
I
you.
want for you to work on the book and have it up, so if persons may want to purchase the book, they can. You did say it was out of stock.
Yeah, we've been working on the what is called an audio version. We have finished recording all the audio pieces. So there's going to be an audio book, and it's going to be available on Audible. There's a platform called Audible where you can people go and they listen to audio books, whether it is poetry or it is book itself, some even school books, even textbooks are on Audible. So it's going to be available on Audible. Right now, Christopher is mastering them. So that's going to be available around maybe the next week and a half from now. And I'm also doing the ebook version. So, that's already done. I'm just, fine tuning some of the piece. So for persons, if you don't really want to buy a hard copy, then
You can get the ebook.
You can purchase the ebook, right? And if you don't want to read it, you can just pay to listen to Audible. Just download the whole thing. You just pay a small amount, and then you have all these beautiful poems, in your ears. So that's where we are with it. And
How easy it is. I'm sorry. How easy it is for you, because you have your home studio now, so it's not like you have to leave home. You
Yeah.
can go into the studio as long as Christopher is available and do
Yes.
your recording, and just how comfortable is that?
It's very comfortable. It is. Most times we don't go to, when we're finished working in the car rental thing, because we do everything ourselves. We detail. You not believe, we detail our own cars. We have nice cars. We clean them. We do everything, and
Wow.
Christopher and I, we have, because like I said, I build the platform. I did the website, do the contract, do every single thing. So we pretty much do everything pretty much, and we set it in stone, and we do most of the work because we're not at that place fully yet where we can employ,
Hire
a lot
other
of
persons.
other persons. So now we
So
are
you're setting the business straight before all of that.
right. So we that's what we do. We do it, and when we're finished working, like our office closed, say around maybe 8 o'clock, because when you work for yourself, you tend to work later, and especially because it is it's just a little different, the way how we do the business. So sometimes we most close at 7. On weekends we close at 8. So when
Okay.
we're done, even though we're tired,
You're going
and
to
we
the studio.
yeah, we go into the studio. We have
Wow.
things to do. Sometimes Christopher, he's studying engineering. He's studying mechanical engineering. He has finished one degree already that he is just doing. He has his degree in drafting and designing, and then he's finishing up that. But we find time, and we put it in there. We do what we need to do. 3 hours here, 2 hours here. So sometimes even 2 o'clock we're going to bed and get up back early again to do work. So
Isn't that awesome? Wow, you
Yeah.
have an engineer right there with you.
right, just so it makes
Christopher.
it easy. Yeah. If I catch your vibes, I just say, Christopher, come play this.
Can you imagine? It must be, you must feel good about it.
Yeah.
Hail up Christopher for us. And if you're still listening, Christopher, you are the real thing.
It is.
You are the real thing. And I would want to encourage him to stick by you, because if you were to go out and to pay for this service,
Yes.
it would have cost you a pretty penny. So you're
Yes.
able to work within the family, and whatever growth is going to come is going to benefit everybody in the family.
Yes.
That is what we want for persons to do. You have your talent, do everything within the family. If you have to pay anybody, pay Christopher.
Exactly.
Let it stay right there in the family, and because that's what the others do,
That's what they do. Exactly.
That's what they do. That's what they do. All of them. That's what they do. We don't even
Yes.
have to call them name, but that's
Yes.
what they do. You
That's
know,
true.
they let it remain in the family, and they build stronger and stronger partnerships
That's true.
with
I
each
I
other,
really
with
hope
each
we can.
family.
I really hope we can come to that place in our lives, us as a people in Jamaica,
Yes.
where we can really begin to love each other, from
Uh-huh.
just love each other in a real way and work together and build together and stop tearing down because it doesn't.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Before we're coming right down, just a few minutes left, but I want to go back to something that you mentioned earlier when you say, how you going to put this 18-year-old out and say, now them are legal adults, now they can go on their own. No, that's the time they need you to help them.
Exactly.
That's the time they need your support. Getting into real adulthood now, they need your support. They need you to stand by them, but you want them to leave now and go pay rent or whatever. If it is that they're working and they're still with you, make them contribute to the house, and
Exactly.
you start
Yes.
to build. They will be stronger. You will be stronger. When
That's
they are
right.
strong, you are strong. It's a stronger family,
That's right.
and that is a kind of pattern we want our people to understand. Don't run them out for them. Go build them own life at 20, at 22, at 25. They're not ready yet.
They're
And
not- they're
especially
not.
in today's world, we want to keep them as close to us as possible. Make them learn how world is, and you teach them to.
That's
They
right.
learn from you.
That's
I
right.
really appreciate talking with you, Diana. You
you
have
so much.
taken the discussion to another level when I hear you talking as a mother about your children and how your son is just by you and how you would have worked so hard, not only since you have gone into America, but from Jamaica. It's in your blood
Yes.
to
Yes.
work for what you want and to build what you want, and not to follow other people when they might buy this and when they might wear flashy clothes, because you would have had something in mind that you are working towards.
Yes.
So I really appreciate it. It lifts my heart this evening
Thank you
to
so
hear
much.
you speak. So I want to congratulate you first of all, and to also thank you. Thank you for coming. Last week it was a reason why we didn't have the discussion.
Yes.
This week are the real thing.
Thank
Yes, are the real thing. I want to thank you so much.
you
I
for
want
having
to
me.
I want to thank Imara too, because he was the one who said give her an interview.
Yes, I'm Mara. Big up
Yes,
yourself.
yes. Thank you so much, my dear.
Yes, thank you.
We are
Thank
going to
you.
be listening Ahu. But before we go, tell me about the website again. www.16bars.
16 bars Mary
Mm-hmm.
.com. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, our music is there, and also I am on Instagram at Empress Diana. So go to Instagram and please follow me there.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some wicked dancing over there too, where some guys in Ghana are doing some dancing for Ahu. So you need to go there and you'll see them. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
also on Twitter as well. Forget Twitter, but TikTok, I think it is, as
Mm-hmm.
Diana849. So if you go to TikTok, you see me. And I don't really like social media like that, but I'm learning. So I don't have a whole lot of followers now. I'm just learning it.
Yes. It will build, and it will improve.
Yes. So
When you
I'm
have the
encouraged.
material, people will follow you because your music sound good.
Thank you so much. And
Yes,
I'm
my
on
dear.
YouTube, and I'm on YouTube as Diana Wright. So please also go there and subscribe and like. And
Yes.
we keep it
Just
live.
want to hail up a few persons who were in the discussion. Kay Hay, when she listened to the poem, she said, lovely poem. That's Kay, and Kay is listening from Portland.
Wow.
Christine Reynolds is in New York, and Christine is saying greetings. Some persons have joined late. Rosalie Chung, you know where Rosalie Chung is? She's in United Kingdom. She's in England.
Wow.
And you know what time in England? No.
Daylight almost.
Yes, and she's saying she is a true woman to herself.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosalie, always listening. We missed you, Rosalie. We missed you on Cultural Mix, but we know you're back and getting into your groove once again. We really want to thank everyone. Thank everyone who joined us, and thank everyone who will listen to the program next week or after this evening, because some persons were not able to join us live, but they can go and listen to the replay. We want to thank all of you who listened and all of you who will continue to be with Cultural Mix. We enjoy when you talk back to us. We appreciate you. We cannot have a program without listeners. I want to thank everyone near and far man and woman, boy and girl, grandfather and grandmother. We want to thank everyone who have joined and everyone who will continue to listen to us. Before we close, I want to give a shout out to Telma Gomez. Telma, we want to thank you always. You always tune in, you always listen. And we're going to talk about, we know you had pledged to the Radiothon. We're going to link up on that. But we thank you always, Telma, for tuning into Cultural Mix and to the other programs on Fit FM. Always faithful, always sure. Thank you, Telma. I also want to shout out Sweetie. Sweetie, I'm going to get where she's from, but she's a lovely, voluptuous woman. She works in Falmouth, and she saw me a few weeks ago, and she said, "You're Bev Moonchild, not true?" And I said, "Yes, she's Sweetie." We want to hail out Sweetie in Falmouth. She works, I think she works either at the hospital or the health center, somewhere down on Rodney Street. Pick up yourself, Sweetie. Again, it is Cultural Mix and Bev Moonchild. We're signing out. We're going to listen to Ahu by Diana. Right, Diana, happy having you. Enjoy your weekend, Diana.
Blessed
Stay
love.
safe, stay sweet, and it's love and light always.
Yes, thank you. Same to
All
you.
the very best. Thank you. And big up Christopher, Jody,
I will.
and Judine.
Judine and Jody. Yes.
Yes,
Thank
all the
you.
very best. And thank you again.
Yes, thank you.
No,
Bye.
take care,
Big up
my dear.
Imara. Yes, thank you.
Yes, Imara, she's bigging you up. Coming in at 2:15.
Promises I comfort to a full no make them power you. Take away your heart and your mind and will devour you. With the sweet talking, they overpower your roses are red and violets are blue. Sugar is sweet but not sweet like you. There's nothing in the world that for you them wanna do. But I bet you didn't know you would have been down battle. Knocking a 2:15. Baby, knocking a 2:15. Baby, knocking at 2:15. Baby, knocking at 2:15. I hope a picture that me just see you swipe. You say you can't read, but you always a time. Me always a catch you on your phone late at night. Always online, now you always a Skype. Me have the whole lot you do not miss. This a girl I miss. Why watch you hit this? This, before you wreck this.